Alright, all you Street Life Crusaders, and I guess a couple of you wrestling fans out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during this week's edition of Monday Night Raw from San Antonio, Texas. And since it's not deep within the heart of Texas, and it's the home of the Kings, we might as well go back to one of our favorite indie tag teams of all time in the form of the Kings of Wrestling, and say Kings reign supreme. Man, I wish they would get back together. You know, Chris Hero, or better known as Cassius Ohno and Cesaro. You know, bring back the Kings of Wrestling. One night only, I hope. But with my tag team, dream team, still away from each other in different brands in WWE, the first thing that would take place on Monday Night Raw for this week would be none other than the Scottish Terminator and the winner of the 2020 Royal Rumble himself, Drew McIntyre, celebrating amongst the people of the fact that he still feels like he's dreaming that he won the Royal Rumble. And would say, instead of dawdling around and just making idle threats of who he's gonna choose, he went straight for the white whale himself, Captain Shrimp himself, none other than Brock Lesnar, to challenge him on the Showcase of the Immortals for the main event for WrestleMania. Which we decided to put in quotation marks because everybody at home knows what it means to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, that it may be a main event spot. Who knows? But Drew McIntyre, in a good mood regardless, after naming his opponent in less than 69 nights, would decide to call out anybody in the back to challenge him to a match. And who would answer? None other than the OC's good brothers in the form of Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson to fight him in a 2-on-1 handicap match. And during this match, action would go back and forth, and it looked like the Good Brothers and the best tag team in the world had the number of Drew McIntyre, until Drew McIntyre decided to toss them around like a sack of potatoes, and ultimately finishing the both of them off with their own separate Claymore kicks, turning Suplex City into Claymore Country, like that sign on the outside of the ring, which I don't know who the fan it was who held it up, but yeah, Claymore Country in San Antonio for none other than the Royal Rumble winner to terminate 2 more targets and win this match via pinfall. But after the match was over, it was not all smiles and funs and games for Drew McIntyre, because next thing you know, from out of nowhere, an F5 tornado would show up, and Brock Lesnar would decide to beat the crap out of Drew McIntyre and hit him with an F5 in the center of the ring, and then pick up the championship, show him who's the champ, and then leave. So yeah, this is what we're gonna have to deal with for the next 69 nights, so get ready, folks. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than Rey Mysterio going one-on-one against Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP. Now, I'm shocked at the fact that he showed up on Monday Night Raw, 1, and 2, the fact that he showed up wearing a Punisher outfit. Nice. So not only he was a Wakanda one night, now he's the Punisher. I like it, this Marvel theme from MVP. And during this match, would the Punisher help him win the set contest? Unfortunately, no, because during this match, despite hitting a big boot and his classic ball and elbow for a near fall, unfortunately, Rey Mysterio, with his lucha libre techniques and hurricane ranas and even a 619 to the spine of one MVP was too much for the MVP to handle, or the, franchise player to handle, for MVP to unfortunately lose this match via pinfall. And on a little bit of a side note, I'm pretty sure that 619 barely grazed him in the back, but what do I know? Anyway, next match to take place on Monday Night Raw, since it feels like 2009 all over again, Aleister Black would go one-on-one against Kenneth Johnson. And during this match, Kenneth will get the frequency change after not only getting kicked in the hamstring on a multitude of occasions, but then will get whipped to the ground, hit with a black mass, and just knocked out for Aleister Black to make Kenneth fade to black for him to win this match via pinfall. And him meaning Aleister, and Aleister would get on the microphone and say, what happened last night at the Royal Rumble was nobody's fault but my own. Because instead of going out there and picking a fight with other people, I decided to let them knock on my door and didn't finish the job. But now heading toward the grandest stage of them all, instead of waiting for a fight, he's going to bring the fight to the entire Raw locker room and would smile about it while sitting Indian style, only for his demeanor to immediately change to a very serious look. And I got a feeling the Dutch Destroyer is going to cause a lot of chaos on Monday Night Raw. And hopefully it leads to a championship match for him at WrestleMania, because that guy deserves it. And speaking of championship matches, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than Seth Rollins, aka the Monday Night Messiah, or what he's called now, Texas Steve, teaming up with his disciple known as Buddy Murphy to fight against none other than the Factor leader of the Nation of Violence, Samoa Joe, and the Frankenstein monster himself, Kevin Owens, for the Raw Tag Team Championships. But prior to this match taking place, both Joe and Owens smelled the rat and said, hey, I got a feeling you're gonna get those goons after us, meaning the AOP, to attack us during this match. And then Seth Rollins would make them rest assured that it's not a recording, they're in the back in his locker room, and they're not going to interfere in this match. Only for Kevin Owens to say, thank you for making this so easy so we don't have to find them. And the Viking Raiders would attack them backstage by hitting Razor in the face with a tiger knee right to the face of Razor, while Ivar would decide to punch the living daylights out of Akam. Or Akam. I keep getting his name wrong, but nevertheless, they would be neutralized during this tag team match. And during this match, action would go back and forth, including Samoa Joe doing a nasty suicide dive out of the ring. But prior to that suicide dive, folks, he would do something like what he used to do back in TNA, which is walk away from his opponent. And it was the funniest thing I always used to see him do in the indie circuit. He would walk away from his opponent mid-dive and just smirk, an evil smirk, like, oh, you really tried to do that? And the fact that I saw him do that tonight, awesome. But what was not awesome, folks, is the fact that Samoa Joe, after that suicide dive that we mentioned earlier, would get hurt, leaving none other than Kevin Owens on his lonesome to fight against the Monday Night Messiah and his disciple. And during that little moment of 2-on-1 action, Kevin Owens put up one hell of a fight, but unfortunately this match would continue with Kevin Owens not only trying to hit Buddy Murphy with a stunner, only to switch gears and hit one on Seth Metal, only for Buddy Murphy to take advantage of the situation, roll him up, grab the tights, and for the Monday Night Messiah and his disciples still to be your tag team champions of Monday Night Raw via pinfall. And after the match was over, they would celebrate up the ramp, and Kevin Owens, who is showing major concern for Samoa Joe, would say that he would still continue to fight against the Monday Night Messiah, and he doesn't know if he's going to be able to beat him on his own, but he's going to take as many people out with him along the way. And that was after Monday Night Raw, where he said this backstage, so we decided to include it in, just for you fans out there. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than El Idolo, Andrade Cien going one-on-one against Humberto Carrillo for the United States Championship in a rematch from the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm pretty sure, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I could have sworn they said there was no rematch clause. This was a year ago when they announced this. But apparently, now people can get rematch clauses and get rematches for championships. But during this rematch, Humberto Carrillo, unlike last night at the Royal Rumble, would turn the intensity up to an 11 and would do everything in his power to defeat Andrade Cien for that championship, including hitting a beautiful Ese Rios-like moonsault that he thought would finish off El Idolo during this match. But unfortunately for him, Zelina Vega, still at ringside, would interfere in this match and break up the pin for the referee to have no choice but to rule this match a disqualification in favor of Humberto Carrillo. But at the same time, still your United States champion, Andrade Cien Almas. And after the match was over, Humberto Carrillo said, "You serious? Yeah, that's how that's gonna go down? Watch this." And would beat the living daylights flag tag out of Andrade Cien Almas, removing the padding on the outside of the ring and hitting him with a hammerlock DDT on the concrete for Zelina Vega to say, "No, no!" And the fact that the referees didn't break any of this up shows you how much they cared. And as a matter of fact, one of the referees reminded me of Gene Wilder and Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory, just sitting there saying, "No, don't, stop, wait." What's up with these referees tonight? I thought they were going to help him out. They didn't do a thing. They just sat there and watched him DDT him into the concrete. What's wrong with them? But needless to say, Andrade Cien Almas still hurt from that, and no medical report has been released as of yet. And besides that concrete evidence that Humberto Carrillo should be United States champion instead of Andrade Cien Almas, the next match that we have up for more championship gold would feature none other than Mojo Rawley going one-on-one against No Way Jose for the 24/7 championship in a ring. And Mojo Rawley would say, "Oh, you thought I was kidding when I said I was going to defend it anywhere and I'm not running. I'm not. I'll defend it anywhere, even at your mother's house." Oh. And during this said match, it was a one-sided contest, folks, because, No Way Jose didn't even get out of the blocks because he would get his block broke during this match by not only getting hit with a running forearm, but also getting hit with the Alpine Water Slide, or Mojo Rawley's version of it, for Mojo to retain the 24/7 championship in convincing fashion via pinfall. But prior to this match, he would announce that he would have a new offensive guard to help him protect his blind side from people trying to take the 24/7 championship away from him. And I forgot what his name is, folks, but all I know is he looks like a mix between Chris Masters and a little hint of Mason Ryan. And I got a feeling he's going to be pretty good in the ring once he opens his eyes and stops hanging around with Mojo Rawley. And how good of an offensive guard would he be? Not very good, folks, because after the match was over, a hamburger would come into the ring, roll up Mojo Rawley, and 3 seconds later, your new 24/7 champion for the 32nd time or more, I've lost count, would be none other than R-Truth. And instead of running for the hills with that championship, he would heel click and celebrate with a couple of James Brown or Ernest the Cat Miller splits in the center of the ring, only for Mojo Rawley to gain his bearings, slam him to the ground like he did No Way Jose, to become 24/7 champion once again. So yeah, his first job as an offensive guard, he's horrible. I would compare him to a sports team, but I don't want to offend anybody, so I'll just leave it at that. And with that said, folks, the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw will be none other than Liv Morgan going one-on-one against the ravishing Russian, or whatever the world she is nowadays, Lana. And during this match, Lana would put up one hell of a fight while running her mouth more than a motorbike by not only kicking Liv Morgan in the face with a roundhouse kick for a near fall, and even slamming her into the ground during this match. But Liv Morgan would definitely get some well-deserved revenge during this match by not only doing a second rope Warrior's Way stomp to the back of Lana, making her crash face first into the dirt for a near fall, and then would finally end the match off with, a springboard flatliner that we're gonna call the Life Maker or the Live Maker for her to win this match via pinfall. And it's a very unique move and very hard to describe, but I want to see more of it. Because it's weird looking, but it's cool weird looking, if you know what I mean. Yeah, congratulations, Liv, and nice move, I guess. Yeah, very strange springboard flatliner of things. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would feature none other than Eric Rowan going one-on-one against Brandon Weiss. And this wasn't even a contest, folks, because the first thing you would see that would happen during this said match would be a massacre. Because even though he tried to get out of the ring and I guess look at what was inside that cage, that freight train known as Eric Rowan would slam right into him, bring him back inside the ring, and an iron claw later, your winner, Eric Rowan. At this point, when it comes to Eric Rowan matches, we might as well be like Clue. How in the world did he die? What weapon was used? And how was it executed? So in this case, cage, crossbody, iron claw, Eric Rowan wins in the ring. I got the game wrong. I never really finished Clue. So moving on to the next match, folks. And apparently, according to the Maestro, instead of going to the next match, we head backstage with none other than the man Becky Lynch, who would now be satisfied at the fact that she took the head off of people and now has finally completed her list of revenge, and now says that she'll slap the head off of people now because she wants to, not because she needs to. And if Charlotte decides to fight her at WrestleMania, she's gonna get her ass kicked. And then would turn around to show her new jacket saying Becky Lynch, the man, and the GOAT on the back, which was a pretty cool jacket. Nice. And speaking of Charlotte Flair, after a whole night of waiting, they would finally bring her out for her to actually talk about who is she gonna face at WrestleMania for her Royal Rumble pick. Only for her to say that she's going to fight a champion at WrestleMania and to brag about the fact that she did what she said she was gonna do at the Royal Rumble last night. Only for Asuka to come out, say something in Japanese, and would also say if I was in the Royal Rumble, I would have won. Which I got a feeling she really would have, only for Charlotte to say, "Are you trying to challenge me?" And then next thing you know, the Kabuki Warriors would ragtag on her and beat the brakes off her, only for a match to be made between her and Asuka. And during this match, action will go back and forth, filled with plenty of kicks, German suplexes, boots to the face, and even a spear by Charlotte during this match for a near fall, and a counter to the natural selection into a Fujiwara armbar, and I guess a ground version of the octopus stretch, which looks absolutely painful, that would get countered into a disgusting power bomb by Charlotte for a near fall. But ultimately, this match will come to an end again, where Asuka was trying to fight out of the figure 8 leg lock, only for none other than Kairi Sane to come in from nowhere, from the friendly skies, with an elbow straight to the heart of Charlotte, for the referee to have no choice but to throw this match out and rule it a disqualification. And after the disqualification was made, Kairi Sane would continue trying to ragtag the brakes right off of Charlotte Flair in the most hilarious way known possible, only for Charlotte to, blow it off and then do a big boot to the face of Kairi Sane for her to get taken out of the ring by her best friend and partner and tag team champion counterpart of Asuka. And I still can't believe they're still holding on to those belts and haven't defended it in months. What is up with that? And after that little bit of a beating, folks, and the fact that the Street Profits would not only run down what happened tonight on Monday Night Raw with a little help from Kelly herself, the final thing to take place on Monday Night Raw, since the main event of Monday Night Raw would take place in the form of the match we mentioned before and would end in disqualification with none other than the Rated R Superstar Edge making an appearance in San Antonio, Texas. And not only thanking the fans for that reaction he got last night at the Rumble, but for tonight, and would also say that he has grit, that no matter how many times you knock him down, he'll get back up, and would ultimately be asking himself a what-if question, that if he could get back in the ring, and he will, and would say that he's going to come back and end his career on his terms. Good for you, Edge. Good for you. But before he can even celebrate any further, none other than the Viper himself, Randy Orton, would make his way to the ring, give an embraceable hug to his former Rated RKO buddy, and would say, hey, if you're on What Ifs, man, I have a what if for you. What if we get back Rated RKO back together one more time? And for the fans to chant yes, 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 and for Randy Orton to say RKO and take out Edge, for Edge to be down on the ground grabbing the back of his neck in a tremendous amount of pain, for Randy Orton to go outside of the ring, grab a steel chair, hit him in the back of the neck again, for Edge to still be in a whole bunch of grimacing pain, and was about to put the chair on his neck and stomp on it from the top rope, but instead would change his mind for the referees to be outside of the ring and just say, no, Randy, don't do it. Once again, the whole Willy Wonka thing that we mentioned earlier, only for Randy Orton to run back to the other side of the ring, grab two chairs, and in the form of what Rated RKO did to Ric Flair when they first joined, would do a concerto to Edge to close out Monday Night Raw for this week. And I got a feeling this is leading into a WrestleMania match that should have happened somewhere around WrestleMania 23 or 22, after both of these two tried to cost each other a chance to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So yeah, this is leading into a WrestleMania match of epic proportion, and I can't wait to see how it's gonna go down. But we got 69 nights to figure it all out, folks. But until then, with the guesswork of all the road work that will take place on the road to WrestleMania, we might as well grab a glass of water, because we completely forgot to split this into two parts. And we'll be back with more Streetlight Delight as the Tuesday Night Special rolls on right after this. So don't go anywhere just yet, folks, and stay tuned.